Now that we're armed with this new knowledge, we can interact with the user through the console here. In the web editor, we're unable to actually use input-output functions because it's online and potentially probably security things. So, but we can do it locally now that we have this installed. So let's get into this, right? Now we've talked about two ways to declare a variable. Nothing changes just because we're here. It just looks a little different. Everything that we've learned functions exactly the same. So we could say like num : equals 4, or we can say in our case var num int, we're doing the longhand here, equals 4, and this works just fine. You're going to see some red highlighting here. It's just yelling at me because I've imported it, but I haven't used the FMT package. That's fine, we'll use it in a minute. Same here, it's going to be like, hey, you've declared this but you haven't used it. It's just impatient. Don't worry about that. We're going to use it down below and that error will go away. So we can say var num int 4, and of course if we say fmt, and now notice since I've used it, that red goes away. Fmt dot println, and I say num. Notice the red goes away on num now, and because we're using it here. So we can save that with Control S and go run app. If you're using your terminal, you can either retype it or hit the up arrow, and it'll put the last command there for you. And you can see now we print out 4 because our app built and it's 4. Again, there's another way with go build and then you run the file that you've built, but for our purposes go run app works just fine. And the further you hit up, the more you can see the up arrow, the more old commands you can see. So if I hit up twice, I can see that. If you're trying to clear your terminal, CLER for clear. If it's PowerShell, I'm not sure if CLC, it might just be clear on PowerShell as well, not sure. So we know this works, but now what if we do this? So we say var num int and we don't assign it a value. In this case it'll initialize to the number 0, and any int that's uninitialized will automatically become 0 in Go. So if we print this, we save it, we run it, oops, not with that, clear, go run app, you'll see we get 0, which is the uninitialized variable, but it initializes itself to 0. One more note on that, if you do like a, I'm just going to call this val string, for example. If we initialize a string, if we declare a string but we don't initialize it over here, I have too many spaces. Nope. Usually you'd say var val string equals my string or something like that. If you don't assign it anything, it will be assigned an empty string automatically. So if I save that and run it, you can see it prints nothing. It's because it's an empty string. So back to what we were doing, num int, and we were printing num, that's fine. Now we want to get a value from the user that we print out as num. So to do that, our format function or our format package is useful for more than just printing. We can also get information from a user, so we can scan it. So we can say fmt.scan. You'll notice there's a lot of different scan options here. We just want the normal scan for now, and we're going to say and num like this. You have to put the one ampersand out in front to the left of the num. I'll kind of explain what that does in a minute, but for now just know we have to do that. So we scan for the num value, and then we print the num value. So let's save it, run it. You'll see our program's not printing anything, but it's giving us an option to print something, or to put in a value here in the terminal. So I'm going to put in 33, hit enter, and you'll see then this is what we input and this is what it prints. Now that's not the most useful information, right? And it doesn't look great, and we don't know why this does this, but for now let's make our print a little cleaner, and we'll say your num is : num. So now we're using just 2 arguments into print. We're printing the string, then we're printing the num that they put in, and this should look just a little bit better. Let me clear this. Let's run the app. It's waiting for us to put in a number. I'm going to put in 100, and then after we put it in and hit enter, by the way, after you put in the number, make sure you hit enter, and then it will print out your num is, and it'll be the num that was entered by the user.